Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach and to the scattered Hebrew Israelites who are throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Today, I bring you a word of encouragement, Hebrew Israelites. And the title of this word today is Jacob's Trouble, but he shall be saved. Keeping the hope alive and your faith strong, for our deliverer is coming. Do you hear that, Hebrew Israelites? Keeping the hope alive and your faith strong, our deliverer is coming. What was done in Exodus shall be done again. You see, my brothers and sisters, we're going to see the signs, the miracles, and great wonders that our ancestors saw when he delivered them out of ancient Egypt. So today the word is Jeremiah chapter 30. We're going to read the Bible summary and we're going to read that whole chapter today because you need to hear the word of the Most High. Because this is not the time to lose your hope, and this is not the time for your faith to be shaken. For Satan and his children are determined to keep you from inheriting the kingdom of heaven. Satan and his children are determined to keep you from inheriting your inheritance, Hebrew Israelites. And also, dealing with the body of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, the bride, Satan is determined, and his children, they are determined to keep you also from the inheritance that the word of the Most High has promised to you, O bride of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. So Hebrew Israelites, this is some homework because you need to stay in the word and you need to read the word and know it inside out because these heathens are trying to shake you. They are setting traps up for you so you can fall and commit evil, to commit unrighteous, so you will not inherit your inheritance, so you will not inherit the kingdom. So this is some homework for you. I would like for you to read Romans chapter 11, Hosea chapter 2, Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14 to 21, and Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 12 to 19. Number 2, I would also like for you to read Isaiah chapter 4, chapter 14. But when you get to Isaiah chapter 11, it's very important that you read it with 2nd Ezra chapter 13. For you shall know who is the deliverer. Just like our father sent Moses, guess what? He's sending his son, Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, to save you out of this pit of evil. He always sends someone in his name to represent him. Now, number 3, I would like for you to read Isaiah chapter 60 with Deuteronomy chapter 32, dealing with the Song of Moses. The Old Testament, my people, do not forget the Old Testament because there are prophecy in the Old Testament that has not been fulfilled yet. And I have to give this for example. Read Numbers chapter 24, 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 1 through 7, because that's a future prophecy dealing with the great battle that is coming. Good against evil. The children of light versus the children of darkness. And last but not least, I will also want you to read Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33 through 44, and Ezekiel chapter 36. Read that whole chapter, Hebrew Israelites. Okay? Now, Hebrew Israelites and Gentiles, I'm going over the 3 groups. Okay? I'm going to let you know which group you will belong to. This is very important because we shall be delivered, we shall be exodus, we shall be gathered, and we shall be redeemed. So if you know the prophecies that pertain to these 3 groups that I'm about to go over with you, When you read the whole King James 1611, including the Apocrypha, you will begin to understand these three groups: position and inheritance, and where they will be going. It's very important. Group number one, the 144,000 is only Hebrew Israelites. Okay? You will have to read Revelations chapter 7, chapter 14, and chapter 15, for they have a very special assignment with the Lamb, with Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, who is our Messiah. They have a special assignment, my people. And I put in parentheses, heavenly realm. That's for something for you to meditate on and to do a further study for those who understand the mystery about the 144,000. Now for the second group, the bride of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. We know today the modern term they use for that is the church. Okay? So the bride of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, we know that consists of Israelites and Gentiles, male and female, bond or free. But when you have some spare time, I would like for you to read Colossians chapter 3, verse 11, because it also includes the circumcision or the uncircumcision, the barbarian or the Scythian, and etc. And to understand more about the uncircumcision, read Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 25 to 26 in your spare time. Okay? And you can also see why I put heavenly realm in parentheses. That's something for you to meditate on. Because when you understand what the Messiah was telling his people in the Bible, especially when you read Luke chapter 20, read that chapter. And I believe let me get it. It's in the book of Corinthians. I know it's chapter 15. I want to make sure I give you the right one. It's dealing with regeneration. Okay? The same thing that the Messiah went through, his bride shall go through. They shall be regenerated. So that is in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And also read Luke chapter 20 to understand the total step or the total process of being regenerated. Remember, what the Messiah went through, so shall his bride go through. That's a key for you, something to meditate on. And the last group is the nation of Israel. Notice I put in parentheses the earthly realm. Now, those scriptures I gave for you, Hebrew Israelites, to read above, you will understand the mystery of why I put the earthly realm when you read those scriptures above. Okay? And last but not least, in the video description box, Yahuwah has spoken himself through his messengers. The first message pertained only to Hebrew Israelites, and the second message pertained to Hebrew Israelites and Gentiles. I highly recommend that you listen to that message. Now, for those who are very disrespectful, remember, any comments you make about the Most High message that he gives to his messenger, keep this in mind because you don't fear him. When you say, this is something I heard before, this is nothing new, you're being very disrespectful. And keep in mind, he's keeping a record of what you say, what you think, what you write, what you do on social media. Don't think he's not watching you. So be careful in what you say and hold your tongue. Okay? Now we shall go to the word. Jeremiah chapter 30. This link will be in the video description box so you can have access to it. I'm reading from the King James 1611 Bible. We're going to start with the Bible summary first. Yahuwah showeth Jeremiah the return of the Israelites, aka Jews, my people, aka Judeans. After their trouble, they shall have deliverance. He comforteth Jacob. Their return shall be gracious. Wrath shall fall on the wicked. Now you definitely want to keep that in your mind, children of Satan. wrath shall fall on the wicked. Okay? Verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah, saying, Thus speaketh Yahuwah El of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. Deliverance after trouble, promised. Verse 3. For lo, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Most High. I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. Do you hear that, Hebrew Israelites? He's going to bring us back to the Holy Land. Verse 4. And these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Most High, we have heard a voice of trembling of fear and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth to dwell with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Hebrew Israelites, highlight that verse. Because the Father hath not forgotten you. He see what your enemies are doing to you. He see how they are oppressing you. So don't think your Father has forgotten you. I'm going to read that verse again, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So that's the key word. It said that day is great. None shall be like it. So the whole world is going to know Yahuwah. They're going to know that it was him that saved you. And they're going to see his wrath for messing with his people. Verse 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Most High of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. You hear that, Israelites? Our change of oppression, our change of slavery shall be broken. No more shall the heathen be above us. No more shall the stranger be above us. He's going to flip it now. We're no longer going to be the head. No, we are no longer going to be the tail. We're going to be the head. Highlight that verse. Verse 9. But they shall serve the Most High their El, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. So you see, when they kill us, my people, that don't mean nothing. He told us he's going to resurrect us from the dead. For he is the El of the living, not of the dead. So no matter what the heathens do to us, if they kill us, if they rape us, if they torture us, if they take our children for us, do not have fear in that. Because he's going to redeem us. And he's going to avenge us for every wicked thing they have done to us. So don't you lose hope, and don't you become fearful, Hebrew Israelites. Verse 10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Most High, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Highlight that. This to prove to the Gentiles, Jacob is still in captivity. The children of Israel is still in captivity. And he told them he's going to have to do what? To deliver them from the land of that captivity. That has not happened yet, my people. Gentiles, you need to wake up. For you don't want to be in that day when you are made ashamed, when he reveals to the world who his people are. Gentiles for you. Read Isaiah chapter 60 and see. See what I'm talking about. Verse 11. For I am with thee, saith the Most High, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, which I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So our Father is not playing with us, Hebrew Israelites. So if you're doing any wickedness, you need to repent now, because he's not playing with you. This is why we were scattered among the heathens. This is why we were scattered among the Gentiles. So the time for you is to repent, come back to the covenant that our Messiah has established to us. Come back and worship Yahuwah, for he is your Father in heaven. He is your El in heaven. Okay? Verse 12. But thus saith the Most High, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. And we see that today. We cry out, we're hurting. And our enemies are constantly afflicting us, and there is none to help us. Verse 14. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. So this is why the Gentiles look down on us, my people, because we did wrong to our Holy Father. You don't understand. We belong to him. He bought us. He paid a price. He shed blood. He killed every firstborn of the Egyptian and of the beast for us, so we can be free, so we can worship him, because he made a promise to our forefathers. He made a promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is called Israel. Do you understand what the price he paid for us? And even yet he gave us the most prized possession. He allowed his son to sacrifice his life for us. His son offered his soul as a living sacrifice, as written in Isaiah chapter 3, for us, to deliver us out of darkness, to deliver us out of this bondage that Satan have us in. Do you understand, Israel, what price that our Holy Father paid for us? Verse 15. Why criest thou for thy affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee. So do you get an understanding why we're going through what we're going through? And we will continue to go through this until we cry out to him and until we repent. Hebrew Israelites, we have to repent. We have to keep his commandments. Even he sent his son to set the example on how to keep his commandments. Read the word. He give us instructions. He give us the commandments. Read the word. Verse 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So Gentiles, this is a warning to you. You need to make a decision. Either you're going to be like Ruth and cleave to the nation of Israel by receiving salvation and baptism in the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach and truly repenting from your wickedness, or you're going to remain joined to your nation and receive the wrath of the Most High and become and be in captivity. Because this is the word. Those who come against his people, he said this, they shall go into captivity. So if I were you, I would choose the righteous side, because you don't want to be on the side of the Most High wrath. You don't want to be on the side where you go into captivity. Think about this, Gentiles. Let me read verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. All thy adversary, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So we have some examples in the Bibles, Gentile. Either you'll be like Rahab, or you'll be like Ruth, or whatever Gentile that's mentioned in the Bible who joined themselves to us, to the nation of Israel. So you need to make a decision. Now, how you join yourselves, because I don't want you to be deceived by the wolves out here, because some of my own people has betrayed us. How you join yourself to the nation of Israel, you have to read salvation that is written in Romans chapter 10, and you have to be baptized in the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach that is written in Mark chapter 16, verse 14 to 20. And read the book of Acts to understand baptism, because they continue the water baptism even after chapter 11, for it is evident in chapter 16 and chapter 19. The water baptism was never put away. Okay. Verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee. Do you hear that, Hebrew Israelites? Let me read that part again. I will restore health unto thee. I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Most High, because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. So do you hear that? Everything they done to us, he's going to restore us, my people. Do not lose your hope. Do not allow your faith to be shaken by these wicked ones. Do not fall for their traps and commit evil. Believe in the Most High when he said he's going to avenge us, for he will. Verse 18, thus saith the Most High, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents. I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the matter thereof. So remember, tents can stand for tabernacle, house, and kingdom when you look it up. Okay? So he's letting you know that our city going to be built again on the hill. What's the hill? Mount Zion. Remember how Solomon built the holy temple on Mount Moriah? Look up Tel Arad, Israel. Go to Wikipedia, for that is the true Jebusite Jerusalem. The modern day Jerusalem we see today is the Amorite Jerusalem. It is also the location of Elia Capitonia that was built by Hadrian himself. And they have found the ancient remains today in the place that we call modern day Jerusalem. Again, modern day Jerusalem is the Amorite Jerusalem. And it is the location, and it is also the location of the ancient city called Elia Capitonia that was built by Hadrian, and they have found remains. Okay? Verse 19. And all of them shall perceive thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. So, Hebrew Israelites, those who make it out of the wilderness and who are allowed to go in the Holy Land, you're going to increase. You're not going to be small. He's going to take that remnant, that righteous remnant in the earthly realm that will go into the land of Israel, and he's going to multiply you. Okay? Verse 20. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. So what happened in Exodus is going to happen again. I highly recommend that you read the 5 books, what we call Torah, because in Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 10 through 15, you will learn that the Israelites and the Gentiles who came out with them enter into the covenant with the Most High. So when you read Isaiah chapter 14, the strangers that is a part of their servants, okay? In other words, the Most High is not going to have strangers with his people to be unholy. They too would have to be holy in order to be with them. Read also Ezekiel chapter 40, I want to say chapter 47 and chapter 48, and you will also see what the Most High would give to the strangers who dwell with Israel in his holy land. Okay? And to understand what the servants would do and what the strangers would do, I want you to read Isaiah chapter 56, but most important, I want you to read Ezekiel chapter 47, 48, because you need to understand this. No stranger is going to live in the Most High land and do unrighteousness and do evil. They too will have to be holy. They too will have to follow the covenant that he will establish with the Hebrew Israelites. Matter of fact, read Ezekiel chapter 40 through 48, and you will see what I'm talking about, because he says it. No stranger will come through there and do these defiled things that we are seeing in the Holy Land today. For we see them doing homosexuality there. We see them having idols there. They have built pyramids there. They have built idols there. They have the eye horse there. We see all these wicked things they are doing in his holy land. Well, the day is coming. He is going to destroy them. Okay? Let me read verse 21. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto me, saith the Most High? Verse 22. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your El. Behold, the whirlwind of the Most High goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the Most High shall not return until he have done it, until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. So this is how you know this is a future prophecy, as he said, in the latter days we shall consider it. Okay? So when you get a chance, go back and read Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 1 through 24. Take this time now to pause your screen to get those precepts that you see here on the screen. Now, I do need to make one thing clear, because I know how the heathens work. And this is for you Hebrew Israelites, because they like to play on words. They like to twist words. So when you go back and study Jeremiah chapter 30, when you read verse 6, in this verse it said, all faces are turned into paleness. Now I know what the heathens would think, and the Gentiles, for those who have no understanding that negroes can be pale. Because again, they don't understand the meaning of words. So when you go to the Strong Concordance, the Hebrew word is
Strong's H3420, Yeraqown.
And the reference numbers is H3420, okay? So we're going to see what that word means. Because again, I know how the children of Satan works. Because they don't believe that the negroes and their descendants are the children of Israel. They don't believe in that. So what you have to do is you have to show truth to fight a lie. Okay? So this word right here, according to the outline of biblical usage, it can be used for mildew, paleness, and liveliness. Okay. And you can see here, A is mildew, rust, paleness. Now, the strong definition of this Hebrew word, okay, means paleness, whether a person's from fright. Now, I want you to really pay attention to that word, except from fright, means fear, okay? Or of plants from drought. And it has here greenish yellow, okay? Now, when you do a further study about this word paleness or pale, in the modern term, you will begin to learn that it's dealing with a person's skin color changing. You notice a difference in their skin color. Okay, so I'm just summarizing this all up. But however, I know how the heathens are, so I'm going to give you more evidence to prove that that negroes can be pale. Okay, so pay close attention. Greenish color, right? So what I did is I did a word search on the word pale, and it comes in these two verses. And I'm so happy that we have a verse in the Old Testament and the New Testament so we can get the full understanding what this word means. Okay? Because I know how the heathens work. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Now I want to read this to you out loud. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. Now, when you understand about his face waxing pale, it's dealing with fear. Because right now, our enemies are constantly oppressing us, constantly afflicting us, and they're trying to put fear in us. Okay. And if you ever see someone who become fearful, one of the symptoms that you can see that they have become fearful is that their color will change. Okay. And I'm going to explain more in detail what that truly means. All right. Now, also, this word pale is also written in Revelation chapter 6, verse 8, when it talks about like the color of one of the horses. For example, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. That's a key word, because again, pale is associated with when people are dying. Again, you see a change in their skin color. Okay. Now we're going to go to the Hebrew to see what this word means in the Hebrew. Okay. First, we're going to go there first. Oh, sorry. I don't want to go there yet. Let me go to the Isaiah 29. Because so we're in Isaiah 29, verse 22. And this is how this word sounds.
Strong's H2357. Chavar. Chavar.
So Havel. So we're going to see how this word is being used in the King James 1611 Bible. Okay. And the outline of biblical use, you see, it means to be white, grow pale. Now I know these heathens. They're gonna like, no, see, that's talking about white people. Again, you're not understanding. It said to be white, grow pale. So that means when you read that verse in Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22, it said what? Waxing pale. So his skin is changing color. Okay. So I know how the heathens are. So I have more proof. But I want to read the strong definition. It said to blanch as with shame, wax pale. Okay. So take this time now to pause your screen to look at this. Because now I'm going to bring you more proof to confirm to you what I'm telling you is not dealing with white people. It's dealing with a Negro becoming pale. Okay. And again, I just want to emphasize the verse 29 to show to you, it said, neither shall his face now wax pale. Okay, so that in this verse, the way this word means, it means to grow white. You probably say, how can a Negro, change his color to grow white? I'm going to show you. And I want to go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. Okay. This is in the Greek.
Strong's G5515. Chlōros. Chlōros.
Now, just as you see how this word is pronounced and the way it's spelled, now we begin to understand when we get the word Chlōros, that means bleach. But do you understand what Chlōros do to color? A lot of times people think, see, that means to be white. No. When you see what Chlōros do to things of color, it changes color to something else. Okay, so let's click on the Strong Concordance and see what this means. It said in the biblical, in the outline of biblical usage, it means it can be green or yellowish pale. Yellowish pale. Okay. In the Strong definition, it said greenish, such as verdant, dun color, green, pale. Okay. So you probably say, well, what does this mean for a Negro to grow white or to be a yellowish pale? Now, those who work in healthcare will understand what I'm talking about because you see this in my people. Okay, so now I'm going to take you to what medicine say so you can understand about what the Greek was telling us and what the Hebrew was telling us of how a Negro can be pale. So I am going to put the link of this chart so you can come back and look at it. But the modern day term they use is pallor. Okay, and to sum this up so you can get an understanding is, when a person is dying or near death or become fearful, what happens is your circulation is affected. And you ever hear people say, their color has changed, their blood has left their face. So you see them turning to a different color. Okay, so let's read what's the symptoms for a light-skinned person and a dark-skinned person. Dark skin is negroes. And my people can be light-skinned because we come in different shades. Okay, so for the heathens and Gentiles who don't know this, the Negro can come in different shades. He can be light or he can be dark. Okay. Now, for a white or light-skinned person, this is a symptom of them being pale. Skin takes on a white hue, which is color of collagen fibers and subcutaneous connective tissue. Okay, so they kind of look kind of white, All right, now we're going to see what is the symptom for a dark-skinned Negro. Okay, it says here, skin loses underlying red tones. Brown skin, person appears yellow-brown. Brown skin, person appear ashen gray. Mucous membranes, lips, and nail beds are pale or gray. Okay. Now, when they say mucous membranes, they're talking about that pinkish tissue that we see that is covering around our eyes and our eyelid. Also, that pinkish tissue that we see inside our mouth. And also, you can look at the lips and you can look at the palms of the hands and the feet. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I know what you're thinking. Negroes can't look white. Okay, you probably think about the dark-skinned Negroes. Okay, got more evidence for you. So the next site I'm going to take you to, again, this is dealing with nurses. And I'm going to put a link of this in the video description box. It said color awareness, a must for patient assessment. Now, again, a Negro's color can be affected by circulation. That means the lack of blood going to that area of the body. Okay. Also can also be affected with the lack of oxygen. Okay. So when you do a study on that further, that would cause us to be pale. Another reason why we can be pale, again, which has the effect on circulation, also the effect on oxygenation, is us becoming fearful or us being a near-death experience or dying. Okay, so when you go to this article, I want you to go to, and I do highly recommend that you read the whole article, but I'm going to take you to the most important piece. You want to go to skin color assessment methods. Was that one? No, I'm sorry. I'm taking you to the wrong one. I want you to go to recommendation for assessing dark skin patients. Okay. Again, dark skin Negroes, blacks. Okay. And I want to emphasize this again, that A Negro can be light to a dark skin. We come in different shades. In light-skinned patients, cyanosis presents as a dark bluish tint to the skin and mucous membranes, which reflects the bluish tint of unoxygenated hemoglobin. What this base is saying when it's saying cyanosis, that means the lack of oxygen. So in a light-skinned person, they turn like a dark bluish tint. Okay. Now we're going to read about what happened in a dark-skinned person. But in dark-skinned patients, cyanosis may present as gray or white or whitish, not bluish. Let me read this again. Cyanosis may present as gray or whitish, not bluish skin around the mouth. And the conjunctivae may appear gray or bluish. In patients with yellowish skin, cyanosis may cause a grayish green skin tone. Now, look at these keywords. You got the word yellow, you got the word green. It's dealing with what happens when you use bleach, right? On a thing that has color. Kind of the same way of how we are affected as Negroes with our skin color changing. Now, they really emphasize looking at the mucous membranes because it's more easier to see this color. But I'm telling you, when you ever see my people in a fearful state or in a near-death experience, that means they on that line where they are dying and they need to be saved right then and there, either due to the lack of oxygen or due to the lack of blood, which is due to the lack of circulation. And I'm a witness of this. They look gray, ashen. And when you look at what ashen look like or a grayish color look like, it look like they turning like a ghost. And I have more proof to give you more understanding of what I'm talking about because, I'm like this. It's better to see it in a picture. Okay. But first, let me take you to this first picture because my people who are brown skinned, they have like a yellow undertone. So for them, when they are lacking oxygen or when they are lacking circulation, which is blood, they would tend to turn more of a yellowish color as we see here in this picture right here. Take this time to pause your screen. But now I'm going to take you to the part what dealing with how a dark Negro can look white or look like a ghost. Okay. And these come from nurses. How to tell a dark-skinned patient is pale, okay? That was the question they asked, and this is what the nurses respond to. So I'm going to read some of their comments. This is from Tokman, April 9th, 2011. From what I noticed is they are more ashen, and ashen means grayish, okay? You can look at their mucous membranes and look inside their inner lower eyelid, okay? Another person responded named Mickey's mom on April 11, 2011. We tend to turn sort of gray or ashy depending on how dark the skin is. Now, I have a picture of what ashy will look like. And when you see what ashy look like, then you understand how a Hebrew Israelite who is a Negro can grow white or can grow pale. Okay? I'm going to have a picture so you can see. Well, I want to read about 3 more comments so you can really understand how Negroes can be pale. Okay. This comes from, I'm going to skip over Rosa 13. Her comment is pretty short, but I want to read Mass ED BSN April 9, 2011. This is what this person wrote. Or mucous gums, palms of hands/feet. And once you learn the difference in skin tone, you just know when they're pale. Their skin tone is just different. And that's what I meant earlier. When you know a person, what their skin tone should look like on a normal basis, and you've been around that person, when they become sick or dying or on that borderline of death or become fearful or anything that affects circulation and oxygenation, you can see a change in the color of their skin tone. Okay. Let me continue to read his comment. I did have a favorite patient who came in frequently in CP and had a defibrillator. He was medium dark skin tone, African American. He came in coding one night and I saw his feet. They were ghostly white. I saw his feet first as he came into the ambulance bay. The rest of his body was the same color. Other than his dreads and looking at his face, I wouldn't have known it was the same person. He was so chalk white. Now, you want to take this time, pause your screen, take a picture, because this is the proof that I'm telling you that my people who are negroes, who are of the dark skin, they can grow pale. They can grow white, or what we learned in the Hebrew, okay? And like he said, he didn't look at his dreadlocks, okay? Because normally most of us have black hair. And by looking at his face, he would have known that this was the same person because his skin color, which is his skin tone, has changed. Now I want to read this last comment by KDMI-BSN-RN on April 9, 2011. And that's what ashen gray is, my people. They look chalk white. They look ghostly white, okay? Ashen gray skin, pale palms, mucous gums, and conjunctival mucosa. Mucosa. Okay, so what she's talking about is that pink tissue that you see in the mouth and the eyes, okay? And when they use conjunctival, they talking about the eye, that pinkish tissue, okay? Then she also wrote, dark purplish color, first seen on lips, means cyanosis. Cyanosis means the lack of oxygen. Most very dark-skinned patients have indeed very dark but beautiful warm color. When they're feeling fine and sane, dark but cold color when they're pale. It's kind of difficult to imagine till you see the real human being. In some cases, Macy has cosmetic lines oriented for dark-skinned customers, and they could let you see the difference between warm and cold variation of one's tone, which are quite close to the real thing. So what she's telling you, to understand how we can change color, you have to be around us. You have to see it. And the reason why you're not going to see too many pictures of what an ashen gray person, what an ashen gray Negro look like, or what a ghostly white or chalk white Negro look like, because when they turn that color, that means they dying and you need to do something. Now, there are certain illnesses where certain parts of their body will turn that color. But when you see us turn a chalk white color or a ghostly white color, which is known as ashen gray skin color, all over, that is not good. We are dying, okay? So I have a picture to give you an idea of what that would look like. And unfortunately, like I said, it's not any picture to really show you of what my people look like when they turn that color, because when you see that, it's not a good thing. That means they are dying. So that's probably explain the reason why you won't see that too often. Now, you may see it in certain illnesses that affects like the hands, the feet, that kind of thing. So it's very hard to get a great picture to show you of what a Negro look like when they turn in ashen gray. So what you have to do is you have to look at a picture of ashy. So when you look at a picture of what a Negro looks like when they're ashy, look at this area in the middle of the knee. Focus on this area right here. This is what it means to turn white, okay? A gray ash. That's what will happen with my people when they're in a near-death experience or when they are frightened. You can see a change in their skin color. Okay. And last but not least, I know how the heathens are. So I went to a modern dictionary because I know how the heathens are. And I know how some Gentiles are because they're not understanding about words. And I know how y'all would try to twist word and play on words, because a Negro, whether they're light or dark skinned, can become pale. So we just learned that pale is dealing with the changing of a person's skin tone. And I just show you pictures and nurses' comments to let you know that my people can become a ghostly white, which is known as an ashen gray color. Okay, so when you look at the modern definition of paler, because this is the word they would use in medicine, it says it's a noun unusual or extreme paleness, as from fear, ill health, or death, waneness. So now we can see why Revelation we use to describe the pale horse as death. That's what it's associated with. Okay, let me go down here. I'm going to read this other definition of pallor. A pallor condition, especially when unnatural. Fear gave his face a deadly pallor. And that was evident in the book of Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Okay? So yes, my people can turn white. It can happen. Okay? And I'm not talking about leprosy. I'm not talking about vertigo, because those skin conditions are more on a permanent basis unless the Most High healed that person. Okay? This symptoms deal more on a temporary basis if that person can be saved from death or when that person recovered from their illness or from their fear. Okay? Take this time now to pause your screen to get the word origin and history of pallor. But I want to take you to another area, and we're going to look at the definition of pale. Okay? Because again, I know how the heathens are. Know how you are children of Satan. But the truth is going to prevail here. So when you look at the word pale, you know it's an adjective. And it has these following definition. A, light color or lacking in color. So when you see the word or, it's letting you know it can be one or the other. So a person can be light color or lacking in color. B, lacking the unusual intensity of color due to fear, illness, stress. I'm going to go ahead and put this word, even death, okay, etc. And they have a sentence here. She looked pale and unwell when we visit her in the nursing home. So this applies not only to people of white skin, but this also applies to the negroes, people of color, whether they're light or whether they are dark skin, okay? Right here, of a low degree of chroma, saturation, or purity, approaching white or gray, pale yellow. So we see that we've seen the same terms that were used in the Hebrew definition as well as the Greek definition. Okay, so we are learning that Negroes can be pale, a change in their skin color. They can be yellow, okay, or they can be a ghostly white, which is known as an ashen gray. Okay. Number 3, not bright or brilliant or dim, such as a pale moon. Number 4, faint or feeble, lacking vigor, such as a pale protest. Okay. And take this time to pause the screen to read the other part here, but I want to take you to something down here with the sentiments, because your mouth gonna drop. Okay, I want to expand this because we've seen the same terms that was used in the Greek and the Hebrew. But notice the antonyms, and antonyms mean the opposite of what the word means. Okay, for example, so we went over the definition of pale. Okay, so the opposite of being pale is ruddy. So when you do a further study about ruddy means what? Reddish-Brown. And when you go back to this chart here, what did it say about dark-skinned people? It says skin loses underlying red tone. So we see with this word that the opposite word of pale is ruddy or darken. See? Now, the last thing I want to read to you is the synonyms dealing with the word pale. It said pale, pallid, wane, imply of an absence of color, especially from the human continents. Again, it's looking at how you look. It's like your skin color change. Pale implies a faintness or absence of color. Now, see that word or? It said faintness or absent of color, which may be natural when applied to things, the pale blue of a violet. But when used to refer to the human face, usually means an unnatural and often temporary absence of color, as arising from sickness or certain emotion, pale cheeks. So this is a proof I'm telling you. Do not compare the word pale to albino, to vertigo, or to leprosy. Paleness or pale or paler is dealing with a temporary basis. Okay? In other words, it can be reverted. All right? Now, for leprosy, when the skin is turning white, which today they call vertigo, and albinoism, is permanent unless you receive a divine healing from the Most High. Okay? Now I'm going to read palid. Palid, limited mainly to the human continents, implies an excessive paleness induced by intense emotion, disease, or death. Okay, so again, fear or death or sickness. The pallid lips of the dying man. Again, is this bringing everything all together? Do you see why Revelation again described, called the pale horse death? I got to go back to it because I know it's just like when you know how these heathens work, when you know how the children of Satan work, they would try so hard to go against the truth. It's said here in Revelation chapter 6, verse 8, I look and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. Okay, so the one that sat on the pale horse was Death. Do you see how it's associated together? Do you see? Tell you. Okay. Wane implies a sickly paleness as after a long illness. Wane and thin. The suggestion of weakness may be more prominent than that of lack of color. And wane smile. And then number 5, blanch, lose color. So as you can see, what we just learned, that a Negro, whether they are light skinned or dark skinned, okay, because we come in different shades, they can become pale. Okay. And I just want to show you this picture one more time. And this is the color that my people would turn when they turn an ashen gray. So now we see why those nurses state what they said in their comment. Let me go back to it. I want to point this out. This is why this nurse here said they become a ghostly white. And that's why she described him as chalk white. So now we understand what this Hebrew word was saying to us when we go back to it. Because I want to point it out again because I know how these heathens are. This is why this word say to grow white, to be white. This is why this Hebrew word H2357.
Strong's H2357. Chavar. Chavar.
So this is why this word say to be white, or grow pale. And when you go back and read the scripture again, because I have to emphasize this, because I know how the heathens work. They like to twist words. But here it's saying here in the specific verse, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. So again, when you read in this verse, you will learn that because of the curses that my people are under in Deuteronomy chapter 28, there has been a constant fear in our nation because our enemies always come after us, pursue us, afflict us, and do terrible, evil things to us. But the day is coming now. We no longer going to fear them anymore. In other words, our countenance and our face, our skin color, it's going to change. You're going to see courage, strength, no fear. Okay? So Beware, my people, what these heathens try to do, or what the children of Satan try to do. They very good on playing on words and twisting words. This is why you have to be ahead of the game. And when they give you lies, don't argue with them as far as with your opinions. Show the truth. Bring these sources out. Make them face the truth. And I guarantee they will flee from you. All right, family, let me close this out. So as you can see, our Holy Father has not forgot about us, and he will avenge us and repay our enemies for what they've done to us. Again, keep this family in your prayers, for they are bearing their cross, but they are standing strong. They remain true to their heritage. They would not denounce to the heathens who they are. They said to them, we are Hebrew Israelites. Do what you can do whatever you want to do to us, but we stand for our nationality, and they standing for Yahuwah, and they standing for Yahushua. So I'm going to put the link in the video description box so you can hear their testimony. Okay. And again, please do not forget them. Please pray for them and do whatever you can do to help them out and share that story with others. So I want to close this out with prayer. I pray the blood of Yahuswshua HaMashiyach upon this video and the links that are attached. And Yahuwah, I ask you to afflict an evil judgment upon those who try to stop this truth until they repent and do what is right in the sight of your eyes. I also pray for the nation of Israel. For right now, so much is coming at them, Father. The wolves in sheep clothing. And you have already told us you're going to take care of them wolves. You're going to take care of them false shepherds, those false leaders. So I pray for the nation of Israel. I pray that you read his word. I pray that you don't be stiff-necked, and I pray that you submit yourself when he brings you out into the wilderness, and that you be obedient, and that you don't make the same mistakes that our ancestors made with him when he brought them out. That's my prayer for you, Israel. And to you Gentiles, I pray that you do what is right according to the word, and that you stand up for truth, and that you stand up for the children of Israel, and that you don't lose faith or hope, and that you be strong too, because your own nation is going to turn against you. They're going to alienate you. But I want you to stand strong and remember the promises that he told you to as well. So if anything else, Father, that I forget to pray for, I ask that you fulfill according to your will. Again, Father, whatever the enemies plan against us, let it fall upon their heads, and let them fall in their own pits that they've done for us. In the name of Yahuswshua HaMashiyach, so be it. So continue, my family, to preach the gospel, that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For we know our Savior is coming. Our deliverer is coming. Yahuswshua HaMashiyach is coming. For Yahuwah is sending him to us to deliver us out of this evil world, from this pit of evil. Okay? Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10 and baptize them in the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. Shalom.